Hey, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of the PG Wrestling Podcast, where we are going through everything during the PG era from WWE to TNA and even Ring of Honor. We're covering it all here. We're watching it and we're recapping. I actually started watching wrestling right before the PG era began, late in 2007. So I think it's time. Can we be nostalgic for the PG era yet? I think it's time. What's it been, like 17 years? That's good enough. We can be nostalgic for anything now. But the question will be, will nostalgia be good enough to carry us through this? Will that be all this is? Or was the product actually better back then than it is now? A lot of people not just into the product. It feels like there's something missing. So I'm excited just to go back to this time, watch it through, see, if something's missing now or if it was bad once they went PG. But yeah, I mean, it's such a great time in wrestling. WWE was just in their flow at that time. They were consistent. They had superstars still. TNA was a nice change of pace. It wasn't too indie. It wasn't too outlandish. But it was a nice change of pace compared to WWE. And then Ring of Honor, you had all these young wrestlers that eventually are the people we love today in WWE, like Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. Even Dana Bryan was in Ring of Honor at this time. So welcome. I'm glad you're here. The PG era, I got a note. It officially started on Tuesday, July 22nd, 2008. Apparently that's when their TV rating officially went TV PG. So ECW, I guess, but I don't want to start on a Tuesday. I think this is a perfect place to start. It's a pay-per-view right before we get into the weekly shows. So it'll give us a nice snapshot of exactly where WWE was at this time. And we're going to see if the Great American Bash 2008 was a nice send-off to the end of Ruthless Aggression, or if at this point they were pretty much PG and it was inevitable. So let's get into it. Let's talk about Great American Bash 2008. So it starts with this intro video package. Love these video packages back in the day. The first thing we see is a Edge and Vicky wedding. Ew. I was like, no, this is where we're starting. Oh man, Vicky was the worst. Edge and Vicky was just, it was so gross. It was so cringe. But this is when Triple H was on SmackDown as the WWE champion, which was so weird seeing him with the spinner belt, seeing him on SmackDown at that time. Even though I had just started watching wrestling, it was weird. So he crashed Edge and Vicky's wedding. And he shows this video where Edge cheats on Vicky with Alicia Fox. So we are setting up that in this intro video. They're also hyping up John Cena and JBL. This is when Cena trashed JBL's limo with Crime Time. And then this is when CM Punk cashed in his first Money in the Bank against Edge. And so who does he fight first? Batista. Great. Yeah, we know how this is going to go. So they're hyping up that match. It's a good rock song. It's getting you into the pay-per-view. It's getting you kind of hyped up. You know, it's not some like pop or like rap song where you're just like the mood's weird. You're like you're ready to go. And then they hit the pyro. It's great. The stage looks good. It's not great because we are at the point where they're using that weekly HD set. They're using part of that as the stage, so they're using some recycled stuff in there, but overall it still looks great. They got red, white, and blue ropes, which I love. It's a good throwback to historic wrestling. Looks great. The hard cam is on the opposite side for this pay-per-view, so it's kind of weird, but I kind of like it. It's a good mix-up. I wonder as a wrestler what's that like. You're so used to the hard cam being on one side, and then depending on their place back then, they might have to switch it. So this was from the Nassau Coliseum, Long Island, New York. JR welcomes us in, and our first match is a fatal four-way tag team match for the championships. So John Morrison and The Miz, they come out first. They're our current champs. And Mick Foley gets introduced as a co-commentator, which is such a weird pairing. JR and Mick Foley. Also, just Mick Foley on commentary is weird, but not bad. Not the worst. They could do worse. They could do worse. So, yeah, John Morrison and The Miz come out. Great entrance. Then Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder come out. I forgot they had this awesome theme song. There was this old Christian rock band called Disciple. I forgot they did their theme song. I loved it back then. But then Jesse and Festus, aka Luke Gallows, they come out with the most legendary theme song, Biscuits and Gravy, make me a man. Ugh, amazing. I mean, come on, that's got to get like the biggest pop. And then Finley and Hornswoggle. Ooh, yikes. Yeah, the Hornswoggle stuff. Even eighth grader me was like, ooh, not for me. Now my little brother, he's a couple years younger than me. He's like, oh, he was short. He's like, I love Hornswoggle. I'm like, nah, man, this is not it. This is so cringe. So we start the match, but it's funny, like the beginning of the match, the stadium is still foggy and smoky from the opening pyro. So I'm like, oh, okay, I wonder if they try to make the opening match something with this had 4 separate entrances. So maybe to try to clear out that smoke from the arena, but it was still there even after 4 of these entrances. It's something that I never really thought about, but I kind of want to notice going forward, is it foggy? Do they try to do longer entrances or delay the start of the match? So the bell rings, and if you were watching at this time, you're like, oh yeah, that's what triggers Festus to go crazy. He goes from how do you want to say that? A slow man. I mean, really, the Jesse and Festus thing is like of Mice and Men, right? It's Lenny and whatever George and Lenny. Like Lenny's the big guy that doesn't know his own strength, and yeah, apparently they were like, oh yeah, when the bell rings, that'll be great, that'll be hilarious. So bell rings, Festus goes crazy, he clears the ring of all the other tag teams. And then Miz and Morrison take Hornswoggle. They throw him into the ring to fight Festus, and Hornswoggle actually tries. He pulls up his sleeves. He's like, I'm ready. I can take this guy. But come on, Festus isn't that dumb that he knows this little person. He's a good guy. I'm not gonna hurt him. So Hornswoggle actually then suicide dives into Miz and Morrison outside of the ring, and then Miz gets thrown into the ring to start the match against Festus. And that's where we find out that in this fatal 4-way tag team match, there's only 2 people in the ring at the same time, and it's only to 1 fall. It's not an elimination. I'm not a fan of these, but they actually pulled this off pretty nice. They kept a fast pace going, a lot of tags. I would prefer if there was just a member from every team in there at all times. But yeah, lots of quick tags with the partners. So they got that going. They got the unintentional tags when they go to the other corners. Other teams are tagging in. So yeah, it's a really nice pace. Miz and Morrison, man, I forgot how good they were as a tag team they had great moves, just creative. And honestly, it was Morrison. He was kind of the high flyer guy, but they look good. They look painful. And Finley, man, he sells well. I don't really remember liking him too much. But hey, props to him. He was selling these tag team moves great. And then commentary brings Rick Rude up to compare him to Morrison, and Foley says Rick Rude never grated cheese with his abs. And I was really confused. I don't know if that was something Morrison did. I remember Miz and Morrison had a YouTube show at this point, The Dirt Sheet, and maybe that was something they did on there. I don't know, McFoley. Weird line, weird line. But anyways, Finley eventually hits Zack Ryder's leg with the shillelagh, and the pin gets broken up. And Ryder does not sell it at all. Like immediately after the pin gets broken up, he tries rolling Finley up, beats him up, and tags in Kurt Hawkins like right away. I'm like, oh, okay, Zach, chill, man. Like sell the leg injury a little bit, man. But anyways, eventually Hornswoggle tags in to fight Kurt Hawkins here, gives his little head scissors in to Kurt Hawkins, his typical vintage Hornswoggle move, and Jesse tags in. So we got Jesse and we got Kurt Hawkins, all right? So Kurt Hawkins hits Hornswoggle off the apron. He's dead. Festus gets tagged in, and he starts going off. He's clearing Miz and Morrison. There was a great spot with Miz and Morrison where Miz was leaning against the ropes, and Festus literally chucks Morrison into him, and they both he crossbodies Miz over the top rope. Looks great. They both hit hard on the outside. They're dead. All right. Jesse gets tagged in, and they go for their tag team finisher, which it looks like it's where Festus just kind of throws Jesse off the top into a splash on their opponent. But when he goes for that, Ryder jumps up on the apron. He grabs Jesse's leg so he can't jump off the top rope, pulls him out. Hawkins grabs... I messed this up. Ryder grabs Festus's leg when he's trying to throw him off the top rope, pulls him out. Hawkins grabs Jesse's leg, pulls him off the top rope. So Jesse's standing on the top rope. He pulls his leg. He lands on his back. You're like, ooh, man, that's a nice bump. And then Kurt Hawkins wins with a nice, convincing pin. It looked good. It was a nice cover because all you did was drag the guy off the top rope and he landed on his back. No finish or anything, but it looked great. We got new tag team champs, Hawkins and Ryder. Zack Ryder, he's his face in here is so shock and awe. It's great. And it's actually kind of believable. This was his first title in WWE. So I don't know if he was just acting or if he was legit just so overwhelmed and excited to have a championship in WWE. So it was a good match. I'm not sure why Finley was dead and couldn't break up the pin. That's something that always bugs me in these matches is if people are interfering and breaking up pins, you got to kind of make sure everybody is cleared out in a good fashion so that the finish makes sense and nobody breaks it up and it makes sense. Finley was the only one really where you're like, okay, what happened to him that, I actually had to rewind it. I'm like, did he get clotheslined out of the ring? Did he get hit on the outside? Nope, nothing. So overall, good match. It was a great pace. I love these kind of faster matches, tag team matches with lots of tags and stuff. We got a title change, and the bell to bell on this was actually 9 minutes, 5 seconds. So we're under 10 minutes. I love that. You'll come to know I love shorter matches. So under 10 minutes, I'll take it. Good start to the pay-per-view. So up next is the United States Championship match. Matt Hardy comes out first. He's our current champ at this time. He always got a nice pop when his music hit. I don't know if it was just because people love Jeff so much, so they love Matt too. But I mean, Matt was always just kind of a mid-carder, but surprisingly nice pop. And he's going up against Shelton Benjamin, and this is Shelton Benjamin's gold standard phase. He's got the blonde hair, looks great, the golden trunks and everything. Commentary noted during the entrances, nobody has ever lost the United States title at the Great American Bash, including when this was a WCW exclusive pay-per-view, and WCW used to have their own. That's actually where the U.S. Championship came from. So nobody has ever lost that. So you're like, all right, are they just saying that because they also mentioned Shelton Benjamin would be the 21st person to hold both the Intercontinental and U.S. Championship? So you're like, okay, are we setting this up for Matt to lose, or are we just kind of? I don't know. I feel like they didn't make it super obvious though, which I like. Sometimes they say stuff and you're just like, okay, yeah, I know where we're going here. So this match started a lot slower, a lot of holds, chain wrestling. Matt Hardy ended up taking a good bump. He got thrown into the ring post like when he was standing on the apron. So he thrown into the ring post, hits the floor pretty hard. You're like, man, good bumps. These are good, painful bumps that these guys are taking. Are they unsafe? I don't really know. I feel like a lot of times now they're trying to be overly safe and they don't want to take hard bumps like that frequently. But yeah, they just kind of have a wrestling match. There's more holds, some unique holds from Shelton, which was kind of cool, but sometimes it looked a little clunky. And obviously all the kids are chanting for Matt, but a lot of the grown fans are chanting for Shelton, which I don't think I realized, back then. People like Shelton. They know he's a good guy. He's athletic. He's fun to watch. Good heel. So eventually the match is going on. It's ramping up, and the people are like really into this match. I don't know if that's typical of this area. If you remember, where just the whole match, people are chanting and they're just into it, and every pinfall, like people are like 1, 2, oh, even though nobody thinks it's actually going to end there. It's just people are like focused and invested, and just I don't know if that's just every match during this era, or if people like Matt Hardy and Shelton Benjamin. I don't know. But eventually, Matt jumps off the middle rope for a Hurricane Rana, but Shelton catches him and gives him a buckle bomb. He doesn't just immediately power bomb him. He actually catches him and then gives him what we know is a buckle bomb now, right into the turnbuckle. I was like, dang, Shelton, okay, I see you. That's impressive. And then there was a nice, good roll-up sequence that eventually they both got up and Matt Hardy hit that side effect, which I don't even know what that normally is, I think we all just know side effect, but it looks great. Like, I feel like other people have tried doing the side effect outside of Matt Hardy, and it just doesn't look and hit as good as Matt does it. It's just perfect. So eventually Matt goes for a twist of fate, but Shelton reverses, throws him into the corner. So Matt eventually gets up on the top rope to go for a moonsault. He totally overshoots Shelton, which is funny. I don't know if he meant to. It looked like Shelton was supposed to just get his knees up. So you're like, dang, Matt. All right, Matt, come on, get your accuracy right here. But the commentary ended up selling it like, oh, he grazed his head with his knees on the way down, So I couldn't tell. Like, it was really close. So you're like, okay, sure, maybe. They tried to cover it up nice. And then Shelton hits his pay dirt, which is like that jumping face buster. I don't know, the pay dirt. Who else does it? I don't know. It's kind of like Liv Morgan's Oblivion. And he gets a 1, 2, 3 to become the new U.S. champ. Another good match, another title change. So like, we're just kicking it off with title changes. We're not invested at this point into the story, so it's just cool. And again, the crowd is loving it too. It's not dead, like dead crowd when somebody becomes a new champ. But yeah, good pace. And bell to bell, 9 minutes, 33 seconds. So again, man, we love under 10 minutes. Love it. So now we're going to go over to Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler. They're the Raw commentary team. Good team. I would say this is Michael Cole at his prime before he just gets way into himself. He was actually good here. And of course, Jerry Lawler, he's going to be great. And they're hyping CM Punk versus Batista here. And they cut to a WWE mobile exclusive. And I was like, what is that? And apparently these were exclusive videos that were exclusive to AT&T mobile users, where they could see not behind the scenes, but pretty much now what you could see, where it's like promos and stuff backstage with some of the wrestlers after their matches and stuff. So this mobile exclusive was a CM Punk promo after Raw last week. It was a great underdog promo. I mean, CM Punk has always been so good on the mic. He mentions Bret Hart. I'm like, hey, I see you, Punk, mentioning Bret Hart. And I think this is before, like, Bret Hart came back and kind of made up and everything. So he's throwing his Bret Hart in there, and man, he's just so convincing. Just saying that nobody expected me to become champ. Everybody expects guys that look like Batista to be champ, but not like it is just chef's kiss. He's so convincing. He always has this attitude and edge, even though he's a babyface. Like, just because he's a babyface and he's the world champ, he's not all just smiles and, oh, Batista, he's a good competitor. I can't wait to face him. He's like, nah, like I'm the underdog and I'm going to show you why I'm the world champ. It's so good. So just a little sidebar here, and then we're going to go back to JR and Mick here, and they're going to recap Edge and Vicky's wedding a little more in depth here. So again, Triple H showed the hidden cam footage of Edge with Alicia Fox. He ends up making out with her, and then Vicky eventually like freaks out and starts like going off on Edge, but she doesn't go off on Alicia Fox, even though she's in the ring with with them at this point. So it's pretty funny. And then JR and Mick say, there's a poll to see who do you sympathize with more, Vicky or Edge? I was like, what? Who do you sympathize with more, Vicky or Edge? I was just mind blown, so they're like texting, we're going to show the results later, but you're like, okay, do I sympathize with the girl who got cheated on and then it exposed, or do I sympathize with Edge because he was going to marry her and because Triple H tattletaled on him? Come on, Trips. Come on. That's not fair. So anyways, we're going to go on to the next match, but I like these little sidebars, whether it's recapping a short little promo that, again, it was a mobile exclusive, so not everybody saw that. So that was really cool to see. And then throwing out this poll, it's just a nice little buffer in between matches, so you're not just going match. It's a nice little buffer. I appreciate that. I missed that. So next match, ECW Championship match. It's Mark Henry, who's the current champ, and he is accompanied by Tony Atlas. And I was like, oh no, I remember Tony Atlas in ECW. I didn't know who he was as a kid. To me, he was just a clown. Now I'm like, oh, I love Tony Atlas. He's hilarious. After watching him on like Dark Side of the Ring and the Mr. McMahon documentary, like, he's great. So the commentators for ECW at the time were Taz and Mike Adamle, and Mike Adamle is the worst. He is the worst. Taz, great commentator, love him. But Mike Adamle, I think he was the guy that announced Jeff Hardy as Jeff Harvey. So you're just like, what are you doing here, man? Who are you? You're such an outsider. Everybody knows that you don't actually care about wrestling. He's terrible. He was terrible. I don't think he lasts long either. And so Mark Henry's going up against Tommy Dreamer with Colin Delaney. So if you're watching around this time, you might remember Colin Delaney. He's like the skinny white kid who just got absolute, like, this poor guy, man. This guy legit got beat up by like Mark Henry, Big Daddy V, Kane. Like, they just put him in these squash matches every week. And of course, they're like, we want to make it look good, so we're going to beat the crap out of him. So, but he was accompanying Tommy Dreamer. I was like, that's weird. I don't know what the storyline is. I don't remember anything. But commentary is hyping up Tommy Dreamer being ECW champ once again. Like, everybody knows Tommy Dreamer's Mr. ECW. He's got to be champ again at some point. And so, start of the match, Mark Henry is just doing his thing. He's looking strong. He's beating up Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer's trying to get in a punch or a hold, and Mark Henry's just tossing him around. He does it great. Like, Mark Henry's in his bag at this point, knows what he's doing. And eventually they slow it down, more working holds. And the fans at this point, it's really funny, they're chanting boring. I was like, dang, they knew it. They were like, man, even though like we're only a couple minutes in, they're just like, yeah, this is boring. All right. So eventually Tony Atlas is like talking trash to Dreamer while Mark Henry's putting him in some submission hold by the ropes. So again, at this point, I love Tony Atlas, so I'm like, it's great. But he looks weird. He's in the suit, and I'm just like, Tony Atlas in a suit with Mark Henry. I don't know. He just looks funny. He looks funny. MVP in a suit accompanying a big guy. You're like, yeah, okay, he looks good. Tony Atlas, not so much. There was a little bit of miscues here, but eventually they get back on the same page. So it's like, all right, here we go. And eventually Tommy Dreamer gets on the second rope. He's going to do like a axe handle to Mark Henry or a splash or something. Colin Delaney gets up on the apron, and Tommy Dreamer and Colin do the Dreamer pose with the arms out. Ah! And then as soon as Tommy Dreamer goes to jump off, Colin grabs his arm, drags it across the rope, hits him, and then Mark Henry does the world's strongest slam to Dreamer. 1, 2, 3. That's it. So Colin Delaney heel turn, I guess, caused Dreamer the match. I wonder where this is going to go. I would assume it's just Tommy Dreamer squashing Delaney. Maybe they'll do a Extreme Rules match. That'd be fun. But overall, like, bad match. It was very boring. This like had the feel of a buffer match to like other matches that were short and whatnot. But it was just like, which is so sad because it's ECW. It's your third brand. ECW championship just getting disrespected like this. Bell to bell, it was only 5 minutes and 29 seconds. It felt like it was at least 10. It was so bad. I'm just mad. Like, the ECW championship, all their championship matches should be held under Extreme Rules. If it's the Extreme belt, it's like the hardcore belt. Every match should be Extreme Rules. But whatever. We're going over to Colton Lawler, and we're going to go into HBK. Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho. Such a great feud, if you remember from back then. This is when Shawn faked a knee injury to beat Batista, and then he lied to Jericho about it for like a month. Jericho was like, you're faking. Shawn's like, no, I'm not. I'm being serious. I'm injured. And then eventually Shawn just goes, no, I'm good. I was never injured. And Jericho's like, no, you're injured. Like, I'm in, man. I bought it. Like, you are injured. You're lying now. And Shawn's like, nope, I'm good. But Shawn's a face. Shawn's a good guy, even though he faked a knee injury to win and then lied to Jericho for a month. So obviously Jericho was super upset when Shawn told him this. And this is when he smashed Shawn into the Jeritron and it injured Shawn's eye. Man, when that Jeritron smashed, it was just chef's kiss. Looked amazing. So this is Shawn's eye injury angle, if you remember it. So eventually Chris Jericho fought Kofi at Night of Champions. Chris Jericho was IC champ, and Shawn Michaels made Chris lose it. He distracted him. Kofi, I think that was Kofi's first championship. So that was fun, but cost him the title. And eventually Shawn taunted Jericho to his face, saying Jericho could never be HBK. And I'm like, who's the heel here? Shawn, you are such a heel here. Like, I honestly, like, present day watching this, I'm like, I'm cheering for Jericho. Shawn is such a douche. Lying and then literally telling him, you're never going to be me. So that's the promo video. Again, these give just a nice recap. They hit everything. They get you hype and ready for the match. So Chris Jericho enters first. He's got the countdown, hits the fireworks, but production misses it. They cut camera angles and you don't get to see the fireworks. I'm like, come on, man. You can't miss that. But I love it. Jericho came out. He's looking all disheveled and scruffy. Like, he's got facial hair scruff that's like not trimmed up at all. His hair even is like a little outgrown. You're like, okay, you could use a haircut. And since this is the first Raw match, this is Lillian Garcia announcing for this match. And I'm just like, man, she was so great back then. Somebody that just hit her mark and got out. Like, she did the announcements, didn't overdo it or anything like they do now. Like, she just announced it, sounds great doing it, and got out. Didn't make it about her or anything. She's great. So Shawn comes out next. He's looking all like serious and angry. again, like, dude, you're the one that lied. I know Jericho injured your eye, but you're the one that's like bashing Jericho. And Sean doesn't even like do his pyro or anything, which I love that. There's so many times now where there's a serious feud, but they don't really act that way the whole time. You know, they're like, I'm still gonna do my fun little entrance, blah blah blah. Sean's like, no, I'm gonna walk straight down to the ring and get this underway. Commentary reiterates the eye injury, but Sean looks fine. There's like no bandage or tape or anything over it. I was kind of surprised by that. And this, man, Sean's gear at this point with the rusty orange looking pants, like, I love that gear. It looks great. So they start out striking each other, kind of back and forth. But again, like this is a serious ramped up feud. So yeah, we're starting out striking each other. And then Sean starts selling a rib injury, which I know Sean loves to. I love Sean, by the way. He's like my favorite wrestler of all time. I think he sells great. His moves are great. Sweet chin music, like amazing. Nobody does a super kick like Sean. But he always wants to do the matches where it focuses on a body part. So he starts selling a rib injury almost like too fast too. You're like, what happened that you're selling a rib injury? You know, nothing even looked that bad. But they kind of go back and forth, which I like, even though he's selling this rib injury. Sean chop blocks Jericho, uses his inverted figure four. Looks great. But Sean, still so heelish. I don't know if that was the plan at this point or what, but he is just targeting Jericho's knee, like excessively, you know, where Jericho's kind of like, oh, hey, chill. And Sean's like, no, I'm not holding anything back. I'm going to take your knee out. I'm going to tear out your ACL, you know? It's crazy. So, I mean, yeah, Sean just hates Jericho so much here. And I'm like, why? Like, okay, he smashed your face into Jericho, but again, you were the one that lied to him about being injured, and you're the one that bashed him, you know? Like, you were his role model. We've seen this feud before, you know, where Jericho is like, I looked up to you, Sean, and Sean is just berating him. Heel Sean, come on. Sean does his nice turnbuckle roll-up spot, kind of like the Ric Flair one. And he actually rolls up out onto the apron, which I think normally he just rolls up into the corner and rolls back down. He actually rolls out on the apron like Flair. And then Jericho does his springboard drop kick as soon as he gets to the apron. I'm like, perfect timing, great spot. Sean is still selling his ribs. Again, even though there was just like kind of one move at the beginning of the match that hit him. I guess this is just old man Sean. He's injured all the time. You hit one body part and he's like, oh, my ribs. Oh, I'm dead. So Jericho's like focusing on the ribs. Jericho jumps off the second rope at one point, and Sean catches him right into that atomic drop, knees to the balls. You know, it looks great. But side note here, I hate when the refs yell at the wrestlers to like get off the ropes. I know the ref, you're like, what do I do at this point? Like the wrestler's just standing on the ropes waiting for the other guy to get up. The ref's like, do I just stand here and twiddle my thumbs? What do I do? So they're like, get down. But I'm like, I hate it. I'm like, why? Are they breaking a rule? You know, what the heck? Eventually there's a nice roll-up sequence, and Jericho actually rolls Sean right up into the walls of Jericho. I'm just like, man, I love the creativity with all of these moves and counters. Sean gets to the ropes, though, so they got a break. Jericho goes for his bulldog off the ropes, you know, where he throws him in the corner, hits the rope, bulldogs him, but Sean counters with a great clothesline. I mean, hard hitting, just turns, boom. Both men are laid out. You know, both men are worn down. This is a good point in the match for both of them to be fatigued. Sean goes up top for his elbow, but Jericho jumps up, hits the ropes to drop Sean on his balls. Man, poor Sean, old man Sean at this point. He's just, everything hurts. He probably wakes up and everything hurts. His balls, his ribs, his back, his knees, his eye. But eventually, Sean hits the elbow. He tunes up the band, but Lance Cade comes out and distracts him. And I'm like, oh, man, Lance Cade is with Jericho at this point. What? That wasn't great. I feel like Lance Cade had potential, but it never, you know, came into anything. He sucks. So Lance Cade distracts Shawn. Jericho goes for a code breaker, but Shawn hangs onto the ropes again. Creative, nice counter. Shawn hip tosses Jericho over the top rope into Lance Cade, which looked great and painful. Like Jericho didn't just lightly land and Cade caught him. Like they hit hard. And then Shawn does his moonsault off the second rope onto Jericho and Cade. He kind of missed him a little bit. Like they were a little too far spread out, you know. But it still looked good. It still looked painful. Shawn didn't land on his feet. Like he landed hard. It looked good. Eventually, Shawn and Jericho get back in the ring, and Shawn is like bleeding all of a sudden out of nowhere. I'm like, what the heck happened? And they actually show the replay, but Jericho elbowed Shawn on the outside, right in the injured eye. But I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so much blood for like an elbow to the eye. And I mean, this is Shawn, just crimson mask, like so gross, like layers of blood on his face. You're like, bro, it was an elbow to the eye. But it was kind of cool on the replay. I tried to pay attention closely. You can kind of see Shawn has his one hand clenched up, so he's like holding the razor blade in it. And then like right before the replay ends, Shawn actually like lifts up his hand to blade, but they were smart and they actually cut the replay before you saw it. But man, so much blood. This is the eye feud, man. This is just Shawn bleeding like crazy just because of his eye. So Jericho, of course, he's the heel here, so he's gonna attack the eye. Even Lance Cade gets in on it. Like the ref gets distracted by Jericho and Cade boots Shawn in the eye. They're just hammering on him. The ref's like, hey man, you're bleeding a lot. I'm gonna end this. And Shawn's like, no, I want to continue. So again, still attacking the eye. Jericho headbutts the eye, like, and it looks good. You're like, hey man, Jericho's getting blood all over him. Eventually Shawn counters and gets the crossface in Jericho, but Jericho he fights out. And Shawn's just still bleeding. Jericho's still attacking it. The referee doesn't put on gloves. There weren't any gloves back then for this. They knew their wrestlers didn't have AIDS or STDs or whatever, so the refs were like, yeah, that's fine. And the ref keeps holding off Jericho, trying to get Shawn just to end the match, but Jericho keeps attacking. And eventually, Jericho is like fed up with the ref holding him off, and he tells ref, he's like, he said no, right? And then he continues to attack him. It's like, yeah, it's true. Shawn is not wanting to end the match. Stop holding Jericho off. And Shawn is just like, he is dripping blood. He's like, his head is inches above the mat, and you just see the blood dripping off. And I'm like, bro, you cut too good, man. Like, this is too much blood. And then eventually, after like 5 minutes of the ref trying to hold off Jericho, the ref finally stops the match. Jericho's got blood all over him. He looks great. And that's it. But I love it. No victory music because they want to keep this serious tone. Medics come out right away. So I love that, you know? Keep a nice serious tone. Make it seem kind of legit. I mean, they keep cutting to fans, and obviously these are like fans that don't know the business super well. They might be newer fans. They have like shocked looks on their faces. They're like, oh my gosh, I hope he's okay. But that's it. Jericho wins by referee stoppage. Shawn's a bloody mess. He's getting all mediced up and helped out of the arena. I wasn't really liking the match at first. Again, really fast into targeting body parts and selling ribs and stuff. But again, these good creative spots and kind of a cool ending, honestly. It was a good match. Bell to bell, this was the longest match of the night. It was 18 minutes, 18 seconds. Honestly, it probably could have gone 20 minutes plus. Like, I think they should have taken their time in the beginning a little bit more before starting to hone in on the ribs or the knee, like body parts. But it was good. I was kind of annoyed with the referee holding off, but eventually with the stoppage, Jericho looks great. And people, honestly, like, people were cheering for Jericho. It was hilarious. So that was the longest match of the night. Probably the best match of the night, too. I love both those guys. Again, creative spots. They were great. So immediately over to JR McFoley. Who do you sympathize with more, Edge or Vicky? Like, I'm like, what? But no, they did keep a serious tone. Like, oh man, yeah, that was bad. We hope HBK is okay. But hey, here's this poll. They actually cut to a backstage interview with Edge, and JR is just like, Edge, how do you feel? So this is like prime Edge, great heel. He like actually tries to make Triple H into the bad guy here. He's like, what kind of man puts a hidden camera in somebody's locker room? Like, that is messed up. And then he wanted to ruin my wedding. Like, I just love how he tries to spin it. But during this, the crowd is doing the what chant, and like, I hate that. Like, Edge is a great heel. He's cutting a great promo. Again, this is a little buffer, but it's a little segment to kind of get you more invested. And the crowd is just, what? Triple H, he's a bad guy. What? Who puts a camera in somebody's locker room? What? You know, it's like, it kind of ruined it, but Edge, man, he's at the top of his game at this point. So, surprisingly, the next match was for the first ever Divas champion. I was shocked they're doing this at the Great American Bash when SummerSlam is like a month away. It just shows like how little they care for the Divas at this point. But Michelle McCool comes out first. She's high energy, smiling, high-fiving fans. So you're like, okay, yep, she's the face. Got it. And it was funny. She came out and I'm like, she looks like Kelly here. Like, it was a weird thing. I mean, I guess it kind of looked similar, but I don't know. I was thrown off a little bit. And then up next, I had no clue who it was. It was Natalya. She came out. She was looking weird. She had orange hair. She did this weird like laugh thing on the stage. Kind of looked like Becky Lynch. And it was just a super fast entrance. You know, these are divas. So she comes out, does her like cringy little evil laugh, and then just like marches down to the stage, gets in there. Again, the orange hair I didn't get at first, but I'm like, oh, they kept saying Jim Neidhart's her dad. I'm like, oh, okay, they wanted to make that correlation. She must have debuted pretty recently. And at this point with Natalya too, it wasn't Bret Hart's music, thank God. I don't know when she starts using that. It's probably pretty soon. But didn't know it was her. It was pretty funny. But hey, super short match. It's Divas. Come on. So Michelle starts out. She gets the upper hand first. She botches a flip over Natalya. She goes to land on her feet and falls over. Okay. You know, we're not great. JR and Mick are talking about Natalya's thighs. JR calls Mick a thigh man. He's like, oh, Mick, I always knew you were a thigh man. So weird. Then there was a nice sequence of them trading submission back and forth. Eventually Natalya gets the sharpshooter. Michelle gets to the ropes. Michelle locks in this heel hook for a good while, a little too long. Natalya tries to fight out, but eventually she taps out. And that's it. There's your first ever Divas champ. Michelle holds up the title. Eve Torres, and if you remember Cherry from that tag team Deuce and Domino, they were like the 50s like greasers looking tag team, and she like used to come out in roller skates. They come out to celebrate with Michelle. I guess they were the only two divas backstage that could come out and celebrate with her. I don't know. So they're celebrating with her, and then you hear from the stage Chris Jericho, excuse me, everybody. So, oh my gosh, the disrespect to the Divas at this point is hilarious. Like, they can't even celebrate their new title without Jericho interrupting. He's still got blood on him. He tells the audience, keep your ticket stubs because that was Shawn Michaels' last match. He says, I just heard from the doctor he has a detached retina and he's never going to be able to wrestle again. And he says, good guys always win. And the crowd cheers him. I love it. It's hilarious. Jericho. Hey, good guy in the end. He's like modern day Kevin Owens. You know, Kevin Owens is always right. You know, Chris Jericho's always right. And then like there's no further celebration for the Divas at that point. They just got him right out of there. Get those Divas out of there. And like it was a decent match, but probably because it was just so short. But again, I like the short matches. But this was 4 minutes and 14 seconds bell to bell. Like, oh my gosh, they couldn't even get 5 minutes for the inaugural Divas Championship, and they couldn't save that for SummerSlam. Disrespect to the Divas. Sorry, Divas. I don't know if that's going to get better anytime soon. But up next, we got CM Punk in his first pay-per-view title defense against Batista. I thought this was his first title defense, but they do this promo video recapping Punk's Money in the Bank win at WrestleMania. His cash in on Edge on Raw after Night of Champions, which I remember watching live and like going crazy for. He gave Edge this great GTS look, great. Yeah, man, I remember that vividly, being in my best friend's room watching it on Raw. Like, yeah, that was crazy. But that made Batista automatically the number one contender since he kind of helped Punk win it, and he recently got screwed over by Edge. And he gave Punk a spinebuster on the Raw before the Great American Bash, which I'm like, heel turn? Is Batista the heel here? You know? It's babyface versus babyface, but yeah, I forgot Punk fought JBL. He defended his title against JBL on Raw before this title defense. I don't know if it's just to give him a good win, even though that's where Cena distracted JBL and caused him to lose. So CM Punk comes out first. Cole says, Michael Cole, all right, I know I said this was like prime Michael Cole. This is where he's actually good. But he says, this is the first time a champion was the underdog. And I'm like, come on, dude. Why would you say such a dumb thing? You know, there was so many times before this. Rey Mysterio was a world champ recently within the past couple years. You can't tell me this is the first time a champ was the underdog. So dumb. Batista comes out next. Again, such an amazing entrance for him with the fireworks, music. I mean, it's great. Commentary said the draft happened June 23rd, and the rosters didn't go into effect until after Night of Champions. So if you remember Night of Champions, it was like Batista versus Edge. Edge was on SmackDown, and Triple H versus Cena, and Triple H was on SmackDown. So it was like, is Raw going to have a world champ? And of course, they both lost. So it was actually pretty exciting. It was really cool to see. You wanted to watch Raw. I kind of like that the rosters took a while to go into effect there. And then the refs, if you remember, they used to give the pat downs before championship matches only. They give them a check, make sure there's no weapons on them or anything. It's kind of cool. It kind of builds the hype for it a little bit more. So bell rings. Here we go. Slow start. But it's really cool. CM Punk, even back then, so smart. He knows he uses kicks while Batista uses brute strength. And I love that. CM Punk knows I can't fist fight him. I can't, do wrestling moves on him without him looking weak. So I'm going to use my legs. Like that was his thing back then. A lot of kicks, using his legs a lot. Punk hit a suicide dive. This is before everybody did it, besides Hornswoggle, apparently. But no, it looked good, looked painful. But man, it still was slow. Like one move happened, and then they would chill for a minute. A lot of wear down holds, a slow pace. Punk had a nice athletic corner springboard. Here, let me put this right. It was a corner springboard top rope crossbody. So basically, went to the corner, jumped straight to the top rope, and then did a crossbody off it to Batista. I'm like, dang, I forgot Punk used to be like uber athletic. It looked great. Eventually, Batista lifts Punk up for the Batista bomb, but Punk grabs the top rope. Again, Punk is just always a creative mind. He knows how to counter stuff in fresh ways. Punk hits his springboard clothesline, which it looked great. And then we're finally getting some good back and forth. Again, Punk is using his kicks, Batista's using his power moves, but at least we're going back and forth. It's not just Batista hammering on Punk the whole match here. Punk leapt off the apron to clothesline Batista on the floor, but Batista catches Punk and gives him a spinebuster right on the floor. I was like, dang, painful spot right there. So they're still on the outside here. Batista throws Punk back in the ring, and Kane runs out of nowhere and attacks Batista for the DQ. And, you're just like, okay, I get it, but lame. Kane just coming out of nowhere and gets the DQ. Kane goes into the ring, gives CM Punk a choke slam, and then Kane picks up this burlap bag that he brought out. He holds it up and looks at it, and then gives a big boot to the cameraman. And I was just like, what? Why bring the burlap bag? What is in the bag? But then, like, the big boot to the cameraman was just hilarious for it. Just like, get out of my face. Oh, it was funny. And then Kane gets out. So Punk's bleeding from the mouth post-match. So, he looks like he took a beating, looks good. He has this stare down with Batista. And then Batista gives Punk a Batista bomb. Heel? What the heck? And then Batista rolls out. Music hits and everything. Honestly, it was a bad match. It had a really slow pace. There was a couple good creative spots, but the DQ finish was also just super random, super dumb. Again, I don't know the storyline right now. I know that Punk and Kane kind of teamed up in ECW before this, but I don't know why Kane is invested in this and attacked him. Bell to bell, this was only 11 minutes, 10 seconds. So not great. I get why they did the DQ. You got to protect Batista. You don't want to have Punk lose the title only after like 1 month. But again, just seemed random. I just don't know why. Just have Punk feud with somebody else to start. Like, I don't know, do an injury angle with Batista or kind of screw him out of the number one contender spot. But still, what's in the bag? I want to know. I want to watch Raw just to find out what is in Kane's bag. So up next, we have the JBL and John Cena New York City parking lot brawl. Yeah, I kind of remember this. I guess it's a good spot. At least it's not the main event. They knew Cena, like parking lot brawl. He doesn't have the title. Let's not put him in the main event. And, why not mix it up a little bit and buffer it with a parking lot brawl? So we got the hype video package for the match. JBL and John Cena have been beefing for a while. JBL had his private security guards attack John Cena. And that's when JBL fought Punk on Raw for the title. And then that's when Cena brought Crime Time out. They distracted JBL, fought off his security guards to help Punk beat JBL for the title or retain his title. And then the following week is when Cena and CM Punk, they trashed JBL's limo, which looked cool. They had graffiti, crowbars. They're smashing the windows. It was cool. It was cool seeing Cena team up with Crime Time. And again, Crime Time, they were a cool tag team at the time, but they didn't get to really deal with main eventers until this. So it was so cool to see them get to be in a major storyline with Cena for a little bit. And then eventually, the Raw before the pay-per-view here, JBL jumped Cena in the parking lot, sat him up against a car. JBL gets into a car and murdered Cena? Like, he drove into the car that Cena was leaning up against. They didn't show Cena moving out of the way or anything. I'm like, what? Is he dead? And then we're ready to get going. But man, I hated JBL at this time. Like, as a new wrestling fan, I didn't get to see the whole wrestling god JBL with great promos and great storylines. I was just like, who is this old tubby dude with man boobs? Like, like, get him out of here. Cena should destroy him. So we get to the match. There's no entrances, just Lillian announcing the match. And then the camera cuts to the parking lot. And JBL's music hits, so I guess kind of entrances. His limo drives up to the parking lot, which is kind of funny. He gets out of the limo in dress pants and a button-up shirt, so I guess this is like his street fighting clothes, which is kind of funny too. I guess he just wanted to keep his billionaire persona. And JBL gets out of the limo. He has a crowbar in hand, and he's looking for Cena in this parking lot. And this parking lot is just a warehouse, like backstage area, and there's like 10 cars that are like making a circle for them to fight in here. So again, JBL's just screaming, "Cena, where are you?" So Cena, he's in a car and he starts it up and he's like, "I'm gonna murder you back, JBL." And he drives it at JBL, and JBL jumps out of the way. I think they added sound effects here. There's like tires squealing, and when Cena crashes into the car that he was aiming at JBL for, like it sounded like added effects for it. More on that later though. So Cena puts jumper cables on JBL's balls and electrocutes them with more sound effects. So I'm like, all right, these have to be added sound effects. Like, this has to be pre-recorded, edited sound effects. But Cena just electrocuted JBL's balls. So this is kind of like a comedy brawl match. Like, they're doing funny stuff and funny spots. Cena picks up a keg and tries to murder JBL with it. He just throws it right at him as he's laying on the car, but he gets out of the way and it smashes a windshield. JBL gets in the driver's seat of a car, and John just keeps bashing his head into the steering wheel, honking the horn. Again, this is like almost comedy at this point. It's hilarious. I love it. And it's funny. The match kind of felt like COVID, where there was like they weren't piping in audience noise at this point, and there wasn't any commentary either, which was kind of funny as well. You would think maybe commentary would do it, but nope. JBL throws Cena through an open car door. Like he takes it off its hinges as he goes through it. So that looked great. JBL keeps beating up Cena. And JBL, man, he throws great punches. They look real. They look great. JBL gives a swinging neckbreaker to Cena on the hood of a car, and goes for a pin while they're on the hood of the car. So apparently that's how you win. By pin, it's not knockout, and you could just pin on top of a car, apparently. JBL throws Cena onto a windshield, and it crushes. But again, I think they added a comically large sounding window smash to it, which was kind of funny. JBL DDT Cena on the roof of a car. Looks good. Goes for a pin. Cena kicks out, of course. We're pretty much in Super Cena stage right now. There's added pressure to make this look as real as possible because of no crowd noise and no commentary, which it helps. It looks good. It looks realistic. Unlike today, where they've kind of just given up. They know everybody knows that wrestling is fake, so they don't even want to make this stuff look real or anything. This looks good. So Cena starts to fight back. JBL kicks him right in the balls. And maybe that's why Cena doesn't have any kids. I don't know. But JBL, being the heel, gets a low blow. JBL smashes John Cena's face through a car window. Glass goes flying. It looks great, but there's no blood. I'm like, there's your blood spot right there. I know HBK did it earlier. It's a little excessive, but if you're smashing somebody's face through a window, glass shatters, you should bleed. So no blood. JBL throws Cena into the backseat of a car, and he goes back to his limo and grabs gasoline. This dude's about to blow up a car with Cena in it, and Cena will probably still survive. So he starts pouring it all over the outside of the car. Okay, sure. Why not pour it like inside the car? I don't know. He throws a lighter on the car, and the whole thing just lights up. It looked great. They did it great. But random crew comes out of nowhere with a fire extinguisher and puts it right out. And I'm like, come on. Like, this is supposed to be a parking lot brawl. You got guys on standby ready to put out fires and medics? Come on. Like, so that was dumb. Cena, like, crawls out the back seat of the car. JBL goes over to this forklift. It was kind of weird. He kind of gets into it, but then he kind of gets out of it. So Cena starts like beating him up. They tried to break a window of a car, but it didn't. Like JBL went shoulder first into this car window and it didn't break. Like you could tell he hit hard. I'm like, dang. So Cena puts JBL in this car. Cena gets in the forklift and then rams the forklift into the car. Dead. Match over. JBL has to be impaled by one of the forks or something. Like he hit that car hard. And then Cena picks up the car with the forklift and brings it out to the crowd by the stage. So I love that. They took this parking lot brawl. They were like, hey, let's bring it out to the audience to end it here. So that looked really cool. I'm under the impression, again, that they pre-recorded this and then they just picked it up right there, had Cena climb in, had JBL get back in the car, and just picked it up right there. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was live. Maybe the sound effects weren't added. I don't know. Maybe the electrocuting JBL's balls, like that had to be real, right? So Cena gets onto the roof of the car and poses for murder. I murdered him, guys. Look. Yeah. Don't you love me? But JBL crawls out of the car. And Cena gets back to beating him down. They beat up. He beats him up on the ramp and onto the stage. Cena backdrops JBL on the stage, which I love. The stage at this point, it's all steel. So when you do any move on it, it looks painful. You hear it. It looks great. Even with somebody just taking a bump on it. So then Cena hits the 5-knuckle shuffle on the stage. Of course. Why not? And then Cena picks up JBL for the FU. He's just going to do it on the stage. But then he stops and looks at the car and says, if I didn't murder this man by now, I'm going to do it. So he goes over to the car. He's still on the stage, but the car's right next to it. But JBL hops off, and this is, you've probably seen this spot before. He pushes John Cena off the stage, and Cena goes flying, like shoulder first, into the windshield of the car. It smashes. It looks great. Cena looks like he's in pain. There's blood on the glass because Cena, like, it literally cut his elbow and stuff. And JBL goes over to the car, pins him awkwardly on smashed glass, and the referee counts 1, 2, 3 as the kids shout, Cena, Cena, Cena. Like, sorry, Super Cena, he ain't getting up from that apparently. So JBL gets the win. I was stunned by this. It's really funny though. Michael Cole, maybe he's always been bad. Maybe I'm wrong by saying this is his prime. Cole says JBL should have been more exuberant after winning. But he's selling the match, you idiot. Why is JBL not jumping up and down and celebrating like he's so happy? It's like he just got murdered. And so JBL's like selling it. He's taking it seriously. It's great. Again, Cena's elbow is like all bloody after smashing the windshield. He's got little chunks of glass in it. You're like, ooh, man, cool. Cena's looking tough. And Cena stays serious and looks disappointed, which is great. He doesn't stand up and taunt and say, yay, I know I lost, but I love you guys. Like, no, he's like, dang, I lost. That sucks. So all in all, it was kind of a fun match. It was funny, kind of a flat finish. I think the car should have exploded. Come on. When Cena landed on it, it should have just blown up. No, it just didn't feel like the end. But I guess just a surprising win for JBL. But yeah, fun match. It broke up the pay-per-view nice again. Instead of going match, you throw in a fun match like this. It gives it good pace. Bell to bell, it was 14 minutes, 36 seconds, which I think was the perfect length for this. Didn't need to be any longer. Didn't need to be shorter. It was picture perfect. good job. And JBL with the win over Cena. I have a feeling we're going to see them fight again. So, over to JR and Mick Foley for the main event. But first, who do you sympathize with more, Edge or Vicky? So, 55% voted they sympathize with Edge and 45% with Vicky. I am under the impression at this point that all these numbers back then were made up. But at the same time, it's like, why would you make that up? Why not just pull in what people actually think? But, all the Cyber Sunday stuff, you're like, I think they just made up random numbers for that. I don't know why they didn't have an option for the survey with, like, neither. Maybe they knew that one would just be 100%. We hate both these people. Why would we sympathize with any of them? But, hey, people sympathize with the guy that he got tattled on, He was justified in cheating on Vicky, man. She's ugly. So, again, we get a hype video to give a little bit of a buffer between the matches. It's more in depth. So, basically, the full story that we're getting at this point is that Edge was meeting with Alicia Fox to plan the wedding with Vicky. He's like, oh, I got a knot in my shoulder. He's like, Alicia, can you massage it for me? And she says, yeah, okay, I got you. And she says, ooh, it feels like it's getting stiffer. It's like, oh, boy. And then Edge tells Alicia Fox, Vicky has granny panties, and Triple H brought some to this wedding. Ew, we didn't need to see that. Come on, Trips, a little goofy. And then Edge and Alicia make out with each other. And it's funny, they cut to Edge's face in the ring when the video's playing, and he makes this hilarious cringe face. It's great. And then Vicky freaks out, and Edge just kind of sheepishly walks off. So they show Triple H walking through the backstage halls, kind of to hype up the main event here. And Eve Torres stops him and asks if he regrets ruining their wedding. And I was just like, what? And Triple H is just like, no. I mean, not much to it. And then this is the point where commentary shouts out the theme song for the pay-per-view, which is just weird. Like, you're on the brink of your main event. Should have done that a little bit earlier, maybe before the parking lot brawl or something. Edge comes out first. It's weird seeing him, like, clean-shaven here. But this was before his wedding, so it makes sense. And JR gets interrupted by Edge's fireworks. Come on, JR. You got to know better than that, man. Come on now. Yeah, like JR was like trying to build up the match, and then Edge does his rock, hands up, and the fireworks go off. So like, all right, come on, JR. You know better. Triple H comes out next. Again, he looks weird with the spinner belt, but I got to be honest, as a PG era kid, I like the spinner belt. The best part about the spinner belt is just how painful it looks when somebody gets hit by it, because it's all three-dimensional. It looks like it's gold and diamonds. It looks great. But yeah, Triple H, it's such a GOAT entrance with the music, the lights, the screens, the Titantron, the timing of it all. It's great. I could watch that entrance like every time he does it. It's not too long either. Like the Undertaker's entrance, you're like, all right, man, cool entrance, but try not to take 10 plus minutes to get to the ring. JR, during Triple H's entrance, he says these two men have won a total combined 43 championships. Dang, that's impressive. And Justin Roberts is doing the intros for SmackDown, and pretty good. This is before he went crazy, where he kind of actually ruined announcing for for WWE and for wrestling in general. But he does a good job here. The bell rings and Edge immediately runs and starts attacking Triple H to start. It's showing like, hey, he's mad at Triple H for ruining this wedding and for outing him and everything. So it keeps that anger and that tension, makes it look nice. Triple H flips the momentum around early, which again, I like a good back and forth. Don't just make it Edge beating up Triple H for 20 minutes and then Triple H turning around and winning it. So they're flipping it around. Triple H gave a great hard-hitting clothesline to Edge's back neck area. And that's where I'm just like, man, Triple H, like his punches and clothesline, like all his moves look heavy hitting. They look great. They sound great. But eventually Edge gets the momentum back. So again, good back and forth. We love it. Edge whips Triple H into the steel steps, and Triple H, does his go down onto the knees and blast the steps up. Vintage Triple H. Eventually, the match starts to slow down a little bit with some wear down holds and resting in between moves. All right, main event, got to draw it out a little bit. Triple H is on the apron. Edge goes for a spear through the ropes, but Triple H sidesteps, and Edge actually dives through the ropes out of the ring, and he takes a nice bump on the floor. I like that. And then another great clothesline from Triple H, just right across the chest. Great sounding, looks painful. Mick Foley, actually on commentary, I know I just said this a couple minutes ago, but he said they should have added an option C to their survey that says sympathy for neither. And I was like, I know, that's what I said, Mick. Stop preaching on commentary, man. Vince is probably screaming in his ear at that point. Triple H gives Edge a great catapult into the turnbuckle. Looked like he actually launched him, and Edge hits pretty good. This match is really good. Just two great workers who do everything so good, from offense to defense, rolling up, kicking out. Like, these guys are just masters where they pay attention to the details of every little thing, and every little thing they do looks great. And overall, even if it's just a standard match, everything looks great. It's a great match. Eventually, Edge gave Trips a great top rope suplex, and it was really cool because they didn't go onto the top rope. Both of them were just on the middle rope. Nowadays you gotta make it safe, and both guys have to get up onto the top rope, and you go over easily. But they were both on the middle rope, and Edge just had to strengthen him up and suplex him. It looked great. It kind of caught me by surprise, actually. I'm like, oh, Triple H is going to reverse this, obviously. So then, out of nowhere, and again, kind of for no reason, but, story, I guess, Alicia Fox runs out and grabs the WWE Championship and gives it to Edge. So Alicia is in on this. She must be madly in love with Edge here. And it's funny because, nothing else is happening, so the ref just kind of has to pretend not to see it at all, which I hate that. You got to have the ref distracted by something at this point, because he just looks like an idiot. Oh, I don't know what's going on. And then Alicia is at the bottom of the ramp, by the ring, by the apron there, and she turned way too early because Vicky comes out and knocks her down. But Alicia turned 5 seconds too early and just had to stand there looking like an idiot, oh. So Vicky then grabs the belt, gets into the ring, and she is ready to hit Edge. She winds up, she goes for it, but Alicia comes back in, and we got a cat fight. Joey Styles, I miss you, man. They start wrestling on the ground. The ref tries to split them up. Eventually they're standing up, and the ref is trying to split them up, and Edge goes for a spear on Alicia, I guess, even though the ref was still splitting them up, everybody's there, but the ref pulls Alicia out of the way, and Edge spears Vicky, and it looked great. Edge did not pull back on that. He knew he wanted it to look good, and it hit hard. Props to Vicky. As much as I hate her, props to her for taking that bump. And Edge looks distraught. He's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that. He stands up. Triple H hits the pedigree. 1, 2, 3. Boom. End of the match, just like that. So standard match. But again, both guys just do everything so great. And again, the ending, even though it was super cheesy, honestly, I don't know what Edge was doing going for that spear, who he was trying to spear. Maybe all three of them. He's like, I'm going to just spear them all, and then I'll take out Triple H or something. But, honestly, it was kind of a fun ending. And again, Vicky took a good bump from that spear. So, good match, bell to bell. It was 16:48. And JR ends the pay-per-view by saying, Triple H came. What? He won, and he's still WWE champ. All right, JR, a little sus, but knowing what we know now, that lines up. That lines up. So overall, I thought it was a really good pay-per-view. I don't think it was just nostalgia, but let me know your thoughts as well. I think it was a great starting point for this podcast. There was a couple storylines that we might be catching up on, like with Kane and Batista and Punk. But overall, like, great start for this podcast. We had some title changes. I love shorter matches. I don't think everything needs to be 20 minutes to stretch a pay-per-view. Just do a lot of short matches and it's good. I mean, we didn't have a single match that went over 20 minutes. So I love that. Again, we got a good snapshot of WWE at this point in time. And it seemed like a good transition point from Ruthless Aggression to PG. Ruthless Aggression, obviously, like, the remnants aren't really here at this point, so you could see they were just gearing up, and this change was kind of inevitable, but at least you still had the blood and the violence, like with Shawn Michaels bleeding like crazy in the parking lot brawl. Again, it looked good. And there was still good, fast-paced, and dangerous-looking wrestling at this point, too, which I associate those with the attitude, or the Ruthless Aggression era. Just good, fast-paced wrestling that had dangerous-looking moves. So I think those remnants are still there and are going to carry into PG era a little bit. But you could tell at this point, there's still little else that is still hanging around from Ruthless Aggression. So what do you think? What did you think of the pay-per-view? If you remember certain things about it, or at this point in time, let me know. I want to hear your thoughts. Let me know any recommendations as well. This is the first one. This is the first podcast I've ever done, so sorry if it sucked. It's gonna get better, I promise. Let me know if you think I should get a co-host. I have a buddy who we were best friends during this time and watched wrestling religiously at this time together. So, if I need a co-host, I'll bring him in and we can reminisce and watch this stuff together. But next up is Raw, July 11th, 2008, the last Raw before WWE officially goes TVPG. Watching this is going to be tough. There's nowhere to watch these Raws really at this point. They're gone from Peacock. This era is not on Netflix. So check out Daily Motion. That's probably where I'm going to look it up. If I can't find it on there, I might have to do some other digging. I don't know, but that's the part that is going to suck the most about this PG era, is finding Raw. Everything else is there. ECW, pay-per-views, SmackDown, that's all on Peacock. TNA, they have a monthly subscription for like $10 a month where you can watch all their past stuff. So that's available on there. Ring of Honor, same thing, $10 a month. And you can see all their historical stuff. So everything else is easy to watch except for Raw, which sucks because that's where, we're going to get some good storylines. And this is when Raw is 2 hours. So it's not unbearable to sit through. I can't wait. So yeah, after Raw, we have ECW, we have TNA Impact. So we're getting to see guys like AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Perk Angle, Booker T, Christian. I can't wait to watch it. I don't think I started watching Impact until a couple of years after this. So I'm just excited to see this era of TNA. Then we have SmackDown, and then there's 2 Ring of Honor shows back to back. They used to do shows like Friday and Saturday night. And then they're all available on their subscription service. And those Ring of Honor shows were featuring Kevin Steen, who's Kevin Owens, Bryan Danielson, Kenny Omega, who I didn't realize he was in Ring of Honor at this time, and Tyler Black, aka Seth freaking Rollins. I cannot wait to see him in the indie scene before he went to WWE. Can't wait. So if you enjoyed this or you want to follow along, Like I said, this was the first one. Sorry if it sucked. Hopefully it gets better. It'll get better with time. But please subscribe, follow the pod, like and rate if you feel inclined. And if you have other friends that watch wrestling at this time, if you want to share with them, if you want to support and get the word out. And I'm just excited to watch this stuff. It's such a fun point in time, fun point in wrestling. And thanks for listening. Thanks for coming on this journey. I can't wait to move on. Like I said, next up is Raw. So I appreciate you. Thank you. See you next time.